Well, hello everyone. My light is dark as usual. I forgot to turn my light on, but I'm going to turn it on now. How's everybody doing? Molly, welcome. Jarrett, welcome. Good evening. Got some things to talk about. If you missed, Insider Gaming Weekly, that was earlier today. It was myself and AP. Full recap of our thoughts on Gamescom. I'm going to go more into that. Gamescom, Call of Duty, things like that. But we're going to talk about other things with Gamescom today. Some NHL 26 news, AEW gaming news, and Discord. I have an update on that as well as people are joining in. Be sure if you're tuning in, make sure you like this, share it. Let's get more people in here. I love everybody who joins. My goal is to continue to grow and do these more than just once a week. Like I do them Tuesday nights. I'd like to do them more often, maybe 2 nights during the week and then 1 on the weekend. The weekends are tough though with the kids, but at least 2 nights a week, 8:30, 9 o'clock kind of start time. We'll see what happens with that, but make sure you're sharing. I also might be streaming on TikTok soon as well. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I don't want to. There's that thing of I don't want to just put all my eggs into one basket. I was doing this on YouTube and Twitch, which I might go back to co-streaming on YouTube and Twitch, but at the same time, I don't know if I should. So that's one of the thoughts that I want there from you guys. But make sure you are leaving a like. And let me know how your day's going. Molly, how are you? Jared, how are you doing? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that game. Because I am excited and nervous. We talked about it a little of we talked about it a little bit on Insider Gaming Weekly, the Halloween game, how I'm excited about it. But and there's people who are nervous about, how it's going to be compared to Dead by Daylight, which that's fine. That's fine. Chris, how you doing, buddy? I want to figure out a way, because there's those top fans, the points based on people who are chat. I want to figure out how to way to utilize that. Like what is the motivation to be a top fan and engage in chat? Chris, me too. Me too, Chris. Game being developed to help with depression. Halloween being depression. So we'll jump into that. I was going to kick off with the announcement, but we'll do that in a minute. The Halloween thing, it's by the same team. Well, one of the studios working on is the same team that brought you the Friday the 13th game, if you don't know that. It's by one of the same teams. Ilphonic. So that has me excited. Oh, about a game. I know what you are. I know what game you're talking about. Molly. At least I think I know what game you're talking about. Hold on. But, so Ilphonic, we talked about it. Molly actually asked me about it not too long ago if there was a game in the works, and I told her last I knew there was. I didn't know it was going to be announced when it was, but 2026, a 1v4, but also a single-player Halloween game where you can either play as Michael Myers himself. My biggest thing is how do they capture Michael Myers and the personality behind it, right? That's my biggest thing of how do they go about doing that? Because if they have the music playing and they have that stalker always around you feeling of Michael Myers, it could go really well. It could be a home run type of game. And yeah, from the horror standpoint, Hellraiser, that was announced about a month ago. Like, there is a lot from a horror standpoint that's coming down the pipeline. There is a lot coming up. And yeah, I think Dead by Daylight's still going strong as well. They're not done. They are not done. At least to my knowledge, they're not done. They might come out tomorrow and say, hey, we're done. But to my knowledge, they're not done. I'm trying to think. The game... Hold on. I want to look up the game that you say, the depression game. And I think I know what game you're talking about. And let me know if it is once I find it in my list here. It's not Deer and Boy. Dreams of Another? Is Dreams of Another the game you're thinking of? Because that was a future game show. That looked good. Dreams of Another looked really good, actually. Recur looked really good. Oh, Meloria. Okay. So it was not the game I was thinking of. Deer and Boy, by the way, if you haven't looked at that game, Deer and Boy might be my next, like, under the radar, really, really good game. That's what I'm thinking. There is a new Friday the 13th game in development. I don't know when. Yeah, I don't know when it's coming, to be honest. But there is a new Friday the 13th game in development. It was announced at Comic-Con. A new movie and a new game are in the works. It was kind of mentioned by horror. I think it was Robbie Bersamian, however you pronounce his name, at San Diego Comic-Con. A new game is in the works. Ilphonic had layoffs. Servers for Friday the 13th went down, but now they're working on Halloween, so we'll see what comes of that. NHL 26. NHL 26. You know, before we get into that, the announcement is the Discord at a base level is ready. So I'm ready to invite people, create an invite link. I'm going to put it in the chat and feel free to join. I think we're going to do the first 20 people who join. Maybe just 10, because it's not like this is a giant community. It is a community I like, and I love the conversations we have. And that means more to me than having 1,000 people watching. Now, if 1,000 people want to watch, it could, bring me out of debt. But feel free to join. It is a work in progress in every way. There is a introduction channel. There is a introduction channel. There will be a channel that I got to change. Actually, I got to do that too when people join. Where do they get sent to? There's a few things I still need to get set. So it's a case of Molly and Chris are already in. It's a case of let me know suggestions. Let me know what you'd like to see. It's very basic right now. Each day I'm going to continue to work on it. All I ask with the rules of it, pretty straightforward. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. You can argue people, debate, treat people with respect. No spamming, harassing, or trolling. I don't need to see 90 people go in there and say UFC 6. No, not safe for work content solely because of reasons we don't want the server shut down. No sharing of personal information or anything like that. And no AI generated art or fake news generated by AI, anything like that. So feel free to join. Come hang out. And we're going to figure this out. Any suggestions you have, I will be having moderators as it grows. Right now, I don't know if I need them. But, we'll figure it out. What I have to do is I can't remember how to set it to where what channel it tells people are new and what they've joined. So I gotta check that because there's the rules channel, there's the community updates channel. Yeah, I gotta figure that out. I can't remember where I have them sent. We'll figure that out. We will figure it out. So, welcome. The thing is, yeah, I want channels for eventually different games, but I need, until there's enough conversation, creating a bunch of channels doesn't really, there's no point. You know what I mean? Because this isn't something that I expect to take off and be super huge right away or in the next few weeks. So I think a general conversation channel, a clips channel if you want to share some clips of whatever, a self-promotion if you have something coming up that you're really excited about, and then a suggestions thread where you can create threads, introduce, that type of stuff. That's kind of, I think, what we're going to do for now. I'm going to keep messing with it after the stream and stuff like that as well. But the only people, you won't see me posting about it on social media unless it gets to the point where it needs to. You'll see me post it on the community tab on YouTube, and we'll talk about it while we're streaming. But that's where we're at with the Discord. It's just a way for us to hang out, talk how we want, when we want, and stuff like that. NHL 26. We got more news on that today. Real quick, the Freddie could have had a good game. I don't know. I don't know if it can be a good game. At least everybody seems to want to do some sort of multiplayer with horror games, right? So it's one of those things of, you can't really do that with Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger has to be this. I think a Freddy Krueger game has to be a single player psychological horror game where you play as Freddy. And how many people would be? A lot of people would be into that, but would a publisher be into that? You know what I mean? That's where it's weird for me. It's kind of where I think, John. NHL 26. So we got the deep dive on Be a Pro a few days ago. A couple days ago, sorry. And after that deep dive, there were still questions about, and not all the questions have been answered, but we did get some more insight into what's coming with NHL, and what will and won't be. What will and won't be in the mode. So EA's community manager Eljo on the A forums answered these questions about tunnel walkouts, junior hockey, contracts, and more. How you doing, Perry? I'll get to that in a second. When it comes to tunnel walkouts, something that fans have been wanting, NHL 26 only has them in Be a Pro at the game's launch. They did say they're looking at adding them further elsewhere, but right now it's only in Be a Pro, and they'll only be for specific moments and not every game in your career. So not every game, if you're playing for the Sharks, will you come out of the Shark Cat. Not every game, if you're playing for the Sabres, will the walkouts show you coming through the Sabres, or in Vegas, or wherever. The big oil rig, whatever. How your career starts, we know it starts in the World Juniors. But after the World Juniors, in between that and the draft, so a few months, you can play in the Euro Leagues or the CHL. And once you're drafted, you'll only be able to play in the NHL or the AHL, depending on your performance, of course. The problem with that in my mind is, if you're in the CHL and you get drafted, I know they're going to be having a new rule or whatever where one player can go to the AHL or whatever I think it is. But technically, if you're a CHL player and you get drafted, traditionally it's been you can't go to the AHL until you're 20. So are you being drafted as a 20-year-old? And if that's the case, you can get picked in the first round. That's unrealistic because a 20-year-old doesn't get drafted in the first round of the NHL. 17 and 18-year-olds get drafted in the first round. The mode also won't feature contract negotiations for your player. That bothered me because how are you supposed to... Is it going to be a case of your contract's coming up and you get presented these 5 teams, these 6 teams are interested in you. Here's their offer. That's it. You don't get to, you just have to pick one of the offers. That's my guess how it's going to be. You just have to pick one of the offers, and you don't get to have back and forth. It's like, well, I really want to play with, Detroit, but I'd like it if they gave me a little bit money or a little bit longer term. Nope, you don't get that option. It's a take it or leave it deal. That's kind of how I feel it's going to be. Nor can you view league injuries or transactions. Aljo said that be a pro is more about the journey of your own player, so that's where the focus is. The one good news is it will support custom rosters provided you create them before you start the mode, which makes sense. So we got that. We still don't know what's franchise. The game comes out in 2 weeks. We don't know anything updates to franchise. We don't know what updates are coming to be the World of Chell and EA SHL. It's kind of disappointing. We'll see if we get anything tomorrow, but it's disappointing. Also, tried to set up an interview with the NHL team. And they do not want to talk to me because a few years ago, I broke the news about features coming to UFC 5 a couple years ago, and they're wary of that because it's leaking embargoed information. And I told them, I'm trying to work this out. I didn't leak any information I was embargoed to. The information I got was sent via Signal message. And if you don't know what Signal is, it's an encrypted messaging app. It's kind of how you get anonymous information for stories, where it's kind of like a Snapchat. You know, Snapchat things just, you get them and then they delete. And they go away. They're set to go away after a day, after 5 hours, 2 hours, whatever. They go away. And that's how I got the information. I got the screenshots, I got the videos, I got all the news, text messages. Through that, posted the news, verified them, then posted them, and then boom. That's my thing, Chris. I kind of feel the same way. They'll probably do a couple things, small things, but nothing major. Last year was a big update, but the next big step for franchise is online. That is the next big step. And I don't know when that's going to be, when that's going to happen, but that's the next big step. We're going to raise this desk and we're going to do some standing. TP John, is NHL the least selling EA Sports game? In the United States it is, but I can tell you PGA Tour was the least selling. I mean, technically there's Super Mega Baseball, which is under EA. But yeah, that's kind of where NHL in Canada and in Europe, it sells huge. But in the United States, I mean, when it launches, it will be a top 20 selling game for the month. So that's where we're at with NHL. Hopefully I get my review copy. I don't know if they're going to, but I've seemed to kind of work in inroads with the Madden stuff. So, and it's I try to be fair. It's not like I'm sitting here going, there will be good things about NHL 26, but will it be enough? If you're just tuning in, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, share. If you missed the news, there is a Discord now. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. You can join. It is very work in progress. Things will be added as I can. I'm gonna be working on a bunch of things. So we're gonna see. Everybody who joins, I'll be making founders. The first like 10, 15 people maybe. So yearly releases, I believe it is of the year. Yeah. It's not even close. Of the yearly sports releases, NHL is the lowest selling. Because you got to think college football sells millions now. Madden, one of the best selling games year round. And then FC is one of the best selling games in the world. Roster share crossplay it would be nice. I play on PS5. My biggest thing is they have EA SHL cross-platform, so that's big for me. That is big for me because a couple of my friends still are Xbox fans and owners. So it is what it is. Hassan, moving on. AEW. AEW, everybody's wondering if there's going to be a new game. I had reported in brief not too long ago that AEW talks had kind of picked up again and about what to do about a game. And the one thing I'd mentioned is that they knew that they were not going to announce a game early anymore. They saw what happened with Fight Forever, and it still ended up being kind of rushed out. So they knew. We're kind of in a weird pattern, I guess, when it comes to AEW video games. Tony Khan today was asked about it at the Forbidden Door press conference. Kappas, I will, yes. F1 does sell more than NHL, Jarrett. Globally, F1 sells more than NHL. Tony Khan was asked about it, and what he had said was he doesn't know when a new game will be made, but intends for it to be better than Fight Forever. The quote, courtesy of Fightful, go check out Fightful. Quote, so I love pro wrestling, and I'll be the first to say that I'm not the biggest expert in the world on video gaming, and I like to play games, but I'm not the expert. And there are great experts in the world about it, and I tried to take insight and advice from people in AEW and people around the developers. And absolutely, we learned a lot in the making of the game, and could take that in the future. I really believe to make the next game much, much better, and learn from the experiences of doing that. But I also think that we're having a great year with our wrestling and our TV, our pay-per-views, and doing all kinds of great things that are core competencies, and it's a great thought. I'm not sure what the future would hold. I do think eventually there will be further AEW forays into gaming, different kinds of gaming, games, mobile games, different concepts, different platforms. I can't say for sure what they'll all be, because again, like I said, I'll never claim to be the world's biggest expert on video gaming. But I like it, and I know it's a huge part of a lot of our fans' lives. It's really important to a lot of our fans, and I'm trying to learn from that feedback. So, a new game is going to come eventually. They've done more mobile games. They've done a lot of that type of stuff. But they, like I said, they're not going to announce something unless it's set. I can tell you it's very unlikely, unless a deal that blows them away is made, that they will be working with Ukes again. There was a lot of infighting between AEW and Ukes about what the game should be and how things should go and what AEW Fight Forever should be like, and a lot back and forth. There was a reason why you hear things like cross-platform was planned, full entrances were planned, and then these things didn't happen. Like Kenny Omega was saying these things, and then they didn't happen. There was so much infighting that decisions couldn't be made. And that's kind of where we ended up with Fight Forever, which was an okay game. I'll tell you, my kid loves it. Very easy compared to the 2K games to pick up as a young kid and jump right into. Or even if you just want to jump and play a quick match. But there are a lot of bugs. The modes were limited. The story mode was fine. It was perfectly fine, albeit repetitive. It was fine with the different chapters. I liked it. They didn't need that Battle Royale mode. They tried to jump on that Battle Royale train. That was a big waste, big bomb. Especially on platforms like PC without cross-platform. You were going in on PC, and you're playing that mode with maybe one other real person and 28 bots. 28 bots. B-Dizzle, good evening, sir. So, it's a case of not really, I don't know. They have a lot of work to do. They had talks. My assumption is these talks went to nothing's going to happen right now. I do think by 2028 we hear 2027. I'll say by 2027 we'll hear news of the next as long as things are going well. Now, AEW's new TV deal, they had an option for 20. They're going to focus on that. I don't think during this media rights deal that they're in, we'll get a new game, personally. Now, this isn't a report. This is just me thinking out loud. I don't think we'll get a game during this new TV deal. I think after the next TV deal gets announced, when things figure out with Warner Brothers, and whether or not they're going to stay on Warner Television in a couple years, after this next deal in a couple years, that's when I think we'll get news. Can I talk about the game I wasn't allowed to talk about till today? Kappas. Gamescom time, baby. Yes. Tropico 7 was the game I was talking about. I was so excited to play. I was scheduled to check it out. Or not play. See it. Hands off. I was scheduled to see it back in Germany, obviously. I didn't make it. But I'm so excited for that game. It's a little sad knowing the state of the world and everything, you know what I mean? And building a game where you're building a dictatorship. But it's still a great game. It's still a great game, and I'm so excited. Like, I know it's not the biggest game in the world, but I'm beyond thrilled about it. I'm also excited to finally get my hands on Heroes of Might and Magic Golden Era. I'm so upset because I was invited to talk to the team in Gamescom. I got that invite today if I was out there, but I'm not out there. So I'm hoping to set something up like that, an interview up with the Heroes of Might and Magic team at Unfrozen. Son of I don't know. I think I'm excited. The games that excited me, real quick, game that pissed me off that I saw was there. Am I going to play it? Yes. Bubsy 4D. You know me. You know my despisal of Ben Studios and that Bubsy 3D. Of course, Hassan. And Bubsy 3D. And that game. And then the first thing at opening night live they announced. The first thing was Bubsy 3D. Like, what? Are you just trying to get a rise out of me? Because I feel like you're trying to get a rise out of me with that. So Bubsy 3D was one. Or 4D. There's a lot, actually, that I'm... Obviously, we got Silk Song's announcement today of September 4th. So 2 weeks from today it comes out. But the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe looks good. Road Kings. The crossover with Pac-Man and Sonic Worlds. Trying to think. World of Tanks 2.0. I'm going to check out. Death by Scrolling from the creator of Monkey Island. Yes, please. EU4 looks interesting. Ninja Gaiden 4. Excited about. The Island Getaway for Inzoi. I'm excited about. Wake of the Water from Enshrouded in October. Excited about. There's a lot I'm super excited about. The Black Myth one didn't really... Zongqi didn't do much for me. There's nothing with UFC 6. I don't know what to tell people. People are coming at me on Twitter about never talking about it when I have talked about it constantly on my show, on the streams. I have posted, there's nothing. When I have something, I'll report it. If I don't have anything, assume there's nothing. Or if I don't say anything, just assume there's nothing. I don't know how many times I can say it. Another income... Dude, they're going to give me shit next week on IG Weekly. You might be, John. No, a lot of people gave me because of my... I love it, but everybody's... I mean, Metroidvania is not for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. It is... Hollow Knight was one of my favorite games. Hollow Knight is one of my favorite games. So I'm pretty excited about it. Deer and Boy was another game, Molly. Deer and Boy is a game where I feel like it'll be like, I'm not saying it's the same type as an Ori, but Ori, when I played that game, was just a game where I'd sit back, relax on my couch, and just enjoy. And I feel, without knowing too much more about Deer and Boy, that that's what it'll be at. Wild Blue is another game. If you don't know Wild Blue, this is one game I want people to see. I want people to see this. So let me get this loaded quick. I want people to see Wild Blue. So let's get this up real quick here. All right, Wild Blue.
Coming up on the islands.
Uh-oh, we've got company! Thanks, Bowie. I thought I was done for.
Wild Blue is a game. If you liked Star Fox, this is the game for you. It's Star Fox. I mean, you saw right there. It is a spirit. I mean, it's led by one of the developers of Star Fox. It is of Star Fox 64. It's a clear spiritual successor inspired game by Star Fox. It's clear, and I'm excited. It's one of the. I'm working on scheduling next week. I'm going to try and schedule an interview with the team, with Gamescom winding down, for the developer spotlight series. So hopefully that. NBA Bounce was a game, Jared, I was supposed to check out. I was supposed to play. Unfortunately, couldn't make it. So I'm hoping to. I'm excited to. I wanted to really see how it played because it's a game where I think my kids and I would have a blast playing on the Switch. Will Undisputed get further patches and fighters? Yes, they have agreements with fighters that they haven't announced yet, but they also just announced details for their August update, and that update includes a lot. So they added did rebalancing stats for fighters when switching to Southpaw in order to fix exploits. Power jabs can be used now to knock down opponents. They refactored the way games handle wins and losses in online to fix the issue of losses being given when an opponent quits. They adjusted Sergio Martinez. They added rating updates. Antonio Tarver, Billy Dibb, new NPCs, and then a bunch of general fixes. But that is coming out at the end of the month is the next big update. Audio, bunch of audio issues, bunch of UI fix or general gameplay fixes, stability and stuff like that. So they're still updating it. I mean, they just opened that second studio that is going to have they have a lot more coming for that game. They have a lot more coming for that game. I can tell you that. It's not done. That franchise is not done, not by a long shot. It's doing about expected From what I understand, it could be doing better. I don't know, but from what I understand, it's doing as good as they hoped it to go. You have the real vocal people who are against it or mad about it. Generally, though, the community is pretty happy, which is kind of how it is. You have the big minority group of people that are very vocal, and then the general community is happy about it. If you're just tuning in, a reminder, at the top is a link to the Discord server. Very basic right now. More to add. There is more to add. There's suggestions that I'll take. There are bots I'm gonna add. A bunch of things like that. So that's where we're gonna be for there. Let's see. Is there anything I need to add here? I don't know. So yeah, as you can see, if there's anything you need to see, let me know. If there's anything you see that I don't have, let me know. Go join, hang out, chat, and just meet good people. So more from Gamescom. At Insider Gaming, we have a bunch of hands-on previews by the team that made it over there. Exclusives on Borderlands, hands-on with Silk Song, Fate Trigger stuff. Escape from Tarkov had a 1.0 release date announcement, November 15th. I don't know how that's going to go. As far as scheduling future streams, so I am going to be bringing once a week a typical talk show with this format, where it's going to follow this format. It's not going to be these like casual type of streams. Once a week, we'll do a major format like this. I'm bringing back, let's see. Yeah, I'm bringing back the layouts here and the highlights and all that stuff. Like, I'm bringing all this back. Just got to figure out how I want to do it. But yeah, this is going to be coming back in a big way. There's things I want to do where I use this to train or teach or kind of explain what I'm doing. The Telestrator. It's a really cool plugin on Discord that's free. So once a week we're going to be doing that. We're going to be I'm debating on doing the co-streaming on Twitch again. Just so I have the dual conversations. I'd much rather people be watching me on here. But Twitch, like I'm affiliated there, so we'll see. I don't know. So let me know what you think. We'll have that talk in the Discord as well. Going to start wrapping up here because this wasn't intended to be a long one. I just wanted to go for about 45 minutes or so and kind of explain what's going on. So if you have any questions, get them in now as I wrap up. Otherwise, I will take it as the time to bid you adieu. I did miss a question. Will I be watching Forbidden Door this weekend? Yes, I will. But I'm not too excited about the show. I'll be watching because I'll have a friend over and we'll be watching it with the family and the kids and stuff. But it's not something I'm super thrilled about. Just because a lot of the card feels very predictable. But with that said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Nice quick stream. When I do the shows will be a bit longer. They'll be a little over an hour. And then I think we might do something where we start playing games. I just like talking to you guys. It's a lot more enjoyable than me sitting here playing games. Because the way I play, I get too focused and too into them that I'll start. I'm a very boring person to watch play a game when I stream. Because I'm just got my controller and I'll just... Oh, how you doing? And I don't think you want to see that. But thank you very much. Let me know in the Discord. Go hang out there. Let me know what you guys want to see. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. until next time,